What's going on, Spider-Man fans? This is Solid Dave Snake, continuing Marvel Legends March here at my YouTube channel, and also continuing the Spider-Man Marvel Legends Infinite Series Build-A-Figure The Green Goblin Wave with my review of Marvel's Electro from the Amazing Spider-Man 2 movie. And I'll just be honest with you guys right up front here, I'm not a big fan of this action figure, and really wasn't too big of a fan of the character in the movie. It was okay. I like those original 3 Spider-Man movies more than these Amazing Spider-Man movies that have come out recently. And I just think Jamie Foxx was a little bit of a weird cast for this part, and this action figure doesn't even really resemble Jamie Foxx at all, and really the character that much. It kind of went with the overall design of how the suit looked at the end of the movie. And before I get into the accessories, I'll take a look at him here from head to toe with this alternate head and alternate hands, which are my favorite things about this figure. I like how they gave these electric hands. And then there's some alternate fist ones, which I'll show here in a bit, but get in a little closer and let you see this effect. Kind of a translucent blue, almost like a frosted blue, and the other hand's pretty much the same. And this alternate head has the electric coming off the side of the eyes like that, which is a pretty neat effect, but did it warrant a second head sculpt for that? I don't know. They could have just gave this one or the normal one, and it's real easy to change. You just pop it right off, and you see the ball joint on the hinge, and just pop the new one on. Give you a look at this other head. And it's that same translucent frosted blue, but he has the little pieces of equipment on his forehead and down around his neck that he had in the movie. And you can't really make out that that was supposed to be Jamie Foxx under there in the action figure. That's just a very basic looking head overall. Kind of reminds me of Mr. Manhattan from The Watchmen. And the hands are the same way. You just pop them off, and they come out right at the peg there. And there's a hole in the arm, which you just plug the fist right into. And those are the alternate hands. And we'll change this one too. And now you have a totally alternate look. But this figure is really basic paint job wise. It's pretty much black everywhere except for these little frosted blue spots on the shoulders and the chest and the forearms. They give a little bit of a weathered look to the knee pads, but basically all in all he is just black everywhere. I do like they added tread at the bottom of the boot. The sculpt isn't necessarily bad. The sculpt is really nice. Just no paint variation, so it all just looks basic. I hate those serial numbers on the back of the leg too. I wish they'd put them on the bottom of the feet. And one thing about this blue up here is it rubs really bad, and you'll get some paint rub. Right where these nodules come up, you can see where all the frosted blue has been rubbed off there. And you can just see the black plastic underneath. So be wary of that if you have this figure. But articulation-wise, he is pretty good. All Marvel Legends are. He's got a ball joint and hinge at the head, which will rotate all the way around. And that far down and really far up. He's got a ball joint and hinge at the shoulders, but they're restricted from those nodules on those shoulder pads. But you can rotate it all the way around. He's got that bicep cut double jointed elbows, and a hinge and swivel at the wrist, which will go that far down and that far up, even with the alternate hands. And he does have an ab crunch, but you can't get too much back on it, although you can get it a good ways forward. And he does have the waist cut, and at the hips he will do almost a full split and kick only that far up, so not too wide of a range of movement there. And he does have the cut at the upper thigh, double jointed knees, and a cut at the upper boot, and the hinge at the ankle, and ankle pivot. You don't get much out of that hinge though, because it's restricted from the pants. And he does have a peg hole for a flight stand on his back as well, and peg holes at the bottom of his feet. So all in all, unless you were a big fan of this movie, I would say pass this one up. Unless you're trying to do the Build-A-Figure, which is why I got this figure for his Build-A-Figure piece. So, alright guys, that'll wrap up this review, and stay tuned. I think I will do the Superior Spider-Man action figure next. So stay tuned for that, guys. Later.